Hello, everyone. I'm joined by Infekted from Nightmare to talk all about Stage 4 expectations, how the team have been preparing and getting on. But first, Infekted, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your year so far. Because I think last time I sat down and talked with you, it was probably about 5-6 months ago on Students of a Game. You were in your garage playing, just trying to see how well you could do in the sort of top 8. And then since then, it feels like there's been a massive transition. Had the Dallas Major being announced as NRG, the pop-off performance at the Esports World Cup. Now you've joined Winthrop collegiate team as well. It feels like there's been a massive shift for you this year. So how's your year been so far and your experience of it?
Yeah, so this has definitely been the most fast paced year in my opinion, just because of at the start of the year I didn't even know I was going to end up on a good team or even think about making Dallas and stuff like that. And then Students of the Game just popped off like you said, and then it's the whole NRG reveal, that was huge. It's all just everything is just surreal to me. Just how this whole year has been, because so much has happened in such a short span of time.
It's been, a massive, it really feels like, if you were to ask me what my opinion of you, say, or where I would have ranked you at the start of the year, oh yeah, kind of in and around there with the sort of mid kind of North American tanks in that kind of top 8. But now it feels like you've really cemented yourself as one of the top tanks in North America as well. Does that feel the same to you? Do you feel like you've improved quite a lot over this year as well?
Yeah, for sure. Because at the start of the year, I was on the Gumba project team, YFP, and I just I felt like I was improving, but compared to that from now, I think I'm much more mature. I'm much more I'd say more confident in my calls too. I feel like I'm just a better leader overall, and then just mechanics will just always come with time. So yeah, I feel like I've definitely improved and cemented myself as a top tank player in NA.
And then I also wanted to ask you about, I guess, the most recent move you've made, obviously, to Winthrop for collegiate. What made you choose Winthrop, and how have you been finding it so far?
Okay. Weeds asked me to join Winthrop. I don't even remember when, but it was a month or two before I came here, and it was just a no-brainer for me because the actual school is really nice, and the facility is really nice, and I'm on a full ride. Just the actual school and environment plus the full ride was just a no-brainer. And then also I feel like our team is just the best in collegiate. I think our team is just so good. Everybody's awesome.
Who would even be your closest rivals?
Probably ISU.
Okay.
Probably ISU. Yeah. I mean they're still good too. It's never gonna be easy versus ISU, especially when they have Admiral. That guy's the GOAT. But yeah, we should be the best collegiate team.
I wanted to ask a little bit as well, because obviously most of your collegiate team, while very good players, they are all on NRG for the most part. So now when you're in the practice facility or you're in the room, obviously sometimes you'll be scrimming as the collegiate team, and that'll be very nice. But sometimes you'll be scrimming and you might either be playing against NRG or they'll be scrimming somebody else and you'll be scrimming somebody else. Is there a big risk, or how do you handle the fact that someone might look over their shoulder and maybe see what comps you are playing for that week?
Yeah, so basically we're always just gonna see each other's comms, because I'm always gonna look over and watch their scrims when I'm bored, and they're always gonna look over and watch my scrims. That's just how it is when we're in the same room. But as you can see right now, I'm in Rack's bedroom playing on his setup the week before the matches. So that's what happens every single stage, just so we don't leak comms leading up to the event.
Mm-hmm.
What okay, okay. Apparently he's put something in my PC to leak all my comms, but yeah, I'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm sure I believe it. I'm sure he's got the capability. And then, do you find it as well, because even if you separate yourselves for this week prior, do you feel, especially because you overlap so much, when you're in scrims with, say, the collegiate team, do you ever worry that there's at risk of if you sort of share one of the ideas of, say, oh yeah, here's how we would take this, here's how we think we should push this point, this is what we do in Nightmare, or vice versa, and that you're going to be sharing essentially inside knowledge between each other because you're trying to solve the same problems on collegiate as you might in your main team?
So the thing is, I don't think we've actually scrimmed once as a collegiate team. Maybe 1 hour warm up for something. I don't even remember. But whenever like we do play like matches and stuff, I don't think I never reveal like anything. Maybe I said one time like, oh, I want to play like Winston on this map instead of Ram, but that was like that was a while ago. So yeah, I never want to reveal anything to them for sure.
No, I think that makes sense. Good choice. And then, obviously, everyone knows a lot about the Nightmare team. We've seen you guys play a bit already, but I want to ask you a little bit more about the coaches. So you've got SNR and LNLD. Could you tell me a little bit about what they're like as coaches, maybe sort of personality-wise or styles? And is one of them the head coach necessarily, or do they sort of split roles kind of evenly?
So SNR is definitely more of the head coach, and I think SNR is more of like a scrim coach where like he'll just like watch scrims with us and then just like let us talk and then just kind of like bring everything to like one clear idea of what we should work on. He just like helps simplify everything. And then LNLD basically like writes just like pages of notes, just like that like we can just read whenever we want, like based off like our scrims and then like KR matches and stuff too. So he's definitely more of like here's like the specifics and like the details and like stuff like that. And the SR is more of the like, oh, just push this fight. Just very simple. Get everybody on the same page. And it works really well with our team too. It's a good like mesh.
And then I wanted to ask about the meta as well, because it very much feels like the consensus across every region right now is that it's going to be Juno Brig plus mostly Orisa in 80%, maybe more situations. So how do you feel about how good is that meta for Nightmare?
I feel very confident like in this meta for us because I think Admiral is a very good Brig, CJ's a very good Juno, and I think I'm like one of the best Orisas in North America. And like the second hero being like Winston on most maps too. Like Winston and Orisa are like might be like my top two, maybe like top three heroes in my hero pool. So me personally, I'm very confident. And also there's like a lot of Genji cast, right? Seeker insane on cast, Zero also insane on Genji. Like this is a very good meta for us, pretty much.
What do you think then is the big difference? Because we've seen a lot of people playing Orisa. What do you think the difference is between the best Orisas, or what do they do differently that separates them?
I think the big thing is just like CD management. I think the best Orisas will always have like better golds and like just like better spins and just get more value with that. And also just the spears. Like the best Orisas will just randomly just get like a one-shot spear kill like across the map at the start of a fight. They'll just randomly get kills.
And then I wanted to ask you a little bit about the supports, because obviously every team has sort of had to go through this sort of decision-making process about who plays which support. How did you go about deciding how to best use the three of your supports between like Brig and Juno?
So I know we were gonna try like Z and CJ because we thought it was gonna be like Juno Kiri, but then like once like people started playing Brig and like we started playing Brig, it was like just put Admiral on Brig, and then because like that he's like the only Brig player on our team, and then CJ's just been practicing Juno a lot in ranked, so that was just like a no-brainer for us.
And then looking at the meta of a whole, obviously whenever a big mirror match happens or when most teams are playing the same comp, it always seems to shift more to a sort of macro side of things in terms of who sort of decide how the fights are decided. What do you think are the most important things for teams in this meta?
Honestly, like target focus. Like at least like in a Orisa mirror, I feel like if everybody's like shooting the same thing, I feel like you'll just like kill them more. I don't know how to like say it like in a smart way, I guess, but like it's just a shoot. Like this mirror, it's all just like mechanics and just like who gets a pick first, or just like who like shoots them and then gets like a neutral advantage, right? Like a CD advantage or HP or whatever, right? So just
it's because like I think there's like when it's a brawl mirror basically, and there's everyone has loads of healing, right? Because people are on Juno and Brig, and everyone's getting passive healing all the time, and Juno healing and all of this. I think what happens is like the fights are very long, right? Like you see when you watch like Korea and stuff, these fights go on for a very long time. So the ability to actually focus in on a target or catch, this cast is a little bit too close, or this Brig's overstepped a little bit. Like that shifting of target focus, I think in moments is like really hard, or like not necessarily really hard, but there's like a big difference between doing it 1 second quicker than the other team or something.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you a little about the group stage, because it was mostly smooth sailing, except for maybe a Rialto against Ramatra punch. So I don't know if you have any pre-prepared cope for the Rialto against Ramatra punch, or
okay, like that choke on Reinhardt, that first point hold, you could just sit on point and hold shield and just make it like a 3v4. What we needed to do is just like center on a high ground and just like nade and just kill the backline. But Derpy just holds to his shield and zones both our supports. And then also we got like traded a little bit, but that point is so good for Ryan. So that was always going to be hard. Also, we never played against it before, so it threw us off a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, I think you might now be safe for the rest of the tournament in terms of running over to any more Ryans on Rialto. So
no more Reinhardt.
That problem might have solved itself. And then, if we cast our minds to then the top 8 bracket, you've actually got quite a difficult draw as far as it goes in terms of getting TSM in the first game. And this game is maybe actually quite an important game. I mean, all the games are important in terms of thinking about Stockholm, but TSM are still in the race for Stockholm. And one of the conditions for them making it would be them to do quite well, but also for a team like NTMR to do quite badly. And a great way for them to help that would be to, say, beat you in the first round. So how do you feel about what is actually quite a high-pressure game to start on Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, it's always like a little like like honestly, like I'm pretty nervous like going into the match, but I'm always nervous going into matches. But specifically that one, since there's like so much on the line, I know, like I trust my team as long as we just play our game and just like be cool, we're fine. Because they all have really great players, but they just like recently formed and we've been like playing with each other for a good amount. So we should always beat them if we just play normally. The only way we lose is if they play really well and we just choke. But I trust my team.
And then thinking about the sort of all the teams involved in the top 8, I think most people in their head, when they talk about North America, they have the sort of top 3 with you, Toronto, and NRG at the top. You and NRG, I think, because you both sort of upgraded your rosters at the same time, are seen as like quite head-to-head rivals. Now, we never actually got to see play in Stage 3. So right now, in this current meta, where do you think the power level is between you and NRG? Who's on top?
Oh, in this meta, I think we're definitely better. Like I'm pretty confident to say that. I mean, they're good too, but I just think like for this meta, like every one of our team is on like their best heroes, in my opinion. Except like maybe like CJ on Juno, like Ollie on Brig or Admiral on Brig. But like they're both still good at those heroes. It's just not their best. Like I think Orisa is one of my best. Seeker's Cass is probably his best, and like Zero's Genji is probably one of his best. So I think this is a really good meta for us.
And with that in mind, then, do you think it's good enough that you could beat Toronto? Obviously, we saw you take them to map 5 in Stage 3. Could you go a step further here and actually beat them in a series?
I mean, it's always going to be hard. And like, even like, I know we scrimmed them like once time before, and like they are also like really good at this meta too. But I mean, you never say never. I think there's always a chance to beat them. If Energy can beat them and we almost beat them, it's always possible.
And then the last question I want to ask, obviously, you were able to make the Dallas Major earlier in the year. You're now in a great position to make Stockholm as well. What would it mean to you if you and the team were able to qualify for this last event of the year?
It means everything to us. We've been like double blocking and triple blocking every single day. We all we talk about is like what we want to do. I stole that quote from the Dallas one, but like we all want to make it so badly, and everybody's so determined. And it's really like great to see everybody like put in the work and like actually like want to win as badly as me, I guess.
Oh.
Or that was kind of bad, but the point is everybody really wants to make it. That's the idea.
No, yeah. That's good. That's good. All right. Thank you very much, Infekted. I appreciate your time, and obviously best of luck to you and the boys for the weekend.
Thank you.